Hello everyone, post video game awards here, Panda here, and today we're going to take a look at the weapon banner. We're still pumping out content for 3.3, and today we're doing what we usually do, which is taking a look at the weapon banner, see if it's worth pulling or not. There's 2 5-star weapons on here and a bunch of 4-stars, and we're going to go over every single weapon that's on this banner. The first weapon is going to be the Redhorn Stonethresher, which I have messed up saying multiple times in previous videos. I am so sorry. Unfortunately, this weapon is very easy to understand, has a very simple effect, and a very nice crit damage substat. It's a claymore, and the effect is basically it gives you a straight up increase of your defense by 20%, and then it will also increase the damage of your normal and charged attack damage by another 40% of your defense. Now, obviously, Arataki Itto is going to be the main user of this weapon. Also, Noelle C6, if you are using her as a main DPS, can also take advantage of this weapon as well. Since they are both built the same way, you're still trying to get defense on Arataki Itto as well as Noelle. Can be a very good weapon for either or. However, because of the crit damage substat, this is also still a good stat stick. If you're pulling for Scar's weapon and you happen to get this, if you have a Claymore main DPS user like Diluc, he can also take advantage of this weapon as well. Very good weapon overall, just even as a stat stick. Like, obviously he won't be getting the value that Arataki Itto or Noelle would from the weapon's effect, but he's still getting a decent amount crit damage from the weapon. You can also offset this by giving him like Bennett or someone to give him additional attack that way. But yeah, this can work on basically any main DPS Claymore user that you want, or even sub DPS just for the crit damage substat as well. Pretty simple weapon there, good for a lot of characters. Let's move on to the next one, which is going to be the Tulatullah's Remembrance. This is Scar's signature weapon, and it also has a crit damage substat. It has a very long weapon effect, or at least longer than the last weapon. I'm going to summarize it for you. It increases your attack speed by a straight up 10%. Again, this is all at Refinement 1. And then as you use your elemental skill, you're going to increase your normal attack damage with each second. And then you're also, like, there's 2 ways you increase your normal attack damage. By using your skill, and then by actually just hitting opponents with normal attacks. And then you'll get an increase, and you can have basically a cap of 48%. This increases with additional refinements. Obviously, this is going to be great for Scaramouche because he's doing most of his damage from his normal attacks, and he appreciates the attack speed. However, when I was looking at the other characters that could take advantage of this, it's not too many. It's a very few niche characters would probably want this, like a main DPS Barbara. I suppose this could also be okay on like a Nahida on-field DPS if you have that set up, but I could just keep going on and on about like how you could use this on certain characters. But the point is, regardless, this is still going to be a good weapon for a main DPS or a sub DPS because of the crit damage substat. So even if you're not using the weapon's effect and you're trying to get the other Claymore and you instead got this, I'm just trying to give you options of who you could use it on. And it will just work on, it'll be a fine stat stick for most characters that aren't, just straight up support or like healer types. But before we move on, do you absolutely need to have this weapon for Scaramouche to do well? Well, no, not really. I mean, there's, again, just like any 5-star weapon, there's plenty of 4-star options that are available to you, or 5-star. If you've pulled on the weapon banner previously, then maybe you have like a Skyward Atlas is also a good weapon. Lost Prayer of the Sacred Winds is also a really good weapon option for Scaramouche. That's all I really have to say about the 5-stars. Both of them are really good stat sticks for main DPS and sub DPS characters, even though they can't take advantage of the weapon's effect. But I mean, they're both really, really good. I would put both of these weapons in A or even S tier, just because so many characters can just take advantage of the stats it provides. All right, next up, we got the 4-star weapons that are in the banner. These are the weapons you're more likely to see as you pull. The first one is the Sacrificial Sword, which we have covered plenty of times on this channel, but just in case you're new, we'll go over it again. It has a substat of energy recharge, and the effect is it has a chance to reset the cooldown of your elemental skill, basically allowing you to do it twice. This is the best in slot weapon, or at least the most common weapon you'll see on Xingqiu. That is because it allows him to, again, use his energy or elemental skill twice, giving him a lot of energy, basically allowing him to have his burst up all the time. This also works well with a bunch of other support sub DPS characters because it allows them to spam their skills to provide energy if they're sort of like the battery on the team, which Xingqiu can also be because of this weapon. It also provides energy recharge, so again, supports sub DPSs come to mind when finding someone to use this weapon on. The next one we have is the Favonius Greatsword. All Favonius weapons are pretty much the same, and this is also another weapon we've covered a lot on this channel, but we'll go over it again. It also has a energy recharge substat. This one, however, the effect is you have a 60% chance when you crit to generate a small amount of particles, which will regenerate 6 energy for the character, and this can occur every 12 seconds. Now, if you can get this weapon to Refinement 5, which you definitely will as you continue to pull on not just weapon banners, but this is something you'll even get even just from pulling on character banners. It's not crazy to say, like, a lot of people might have a Refinement 5 Favonius Greatsword in their arsenal somewhere. With that being said, when you're giving this to a character, again, this is a weapon designed for sub DPSs or support-like characters. Basically, when you're building your character, you need to make sure they have a decent amount of crit rate on them so that they can proc this weapon effect consistently. Now, cryo users have a bit of an advantage here because if you just have 2 cryo users with a in your team, you have the cryo resonance giving them basically just, free crit chance, and then you just have to make sure you get like a tiny bit from your substats. You don't have to invest into it heavily. And once you do get this Refinement 5, you are basically guaranteed those extra elemental particles when you crit, making it a really nice battery weapon, a great way to funnel energy to either your main DPS or your team in general, so that burst up time is more consistent. Next up, we have the Wavebreaker's Fin. Now, it's been a minute since we've seen this weapon in a weapon banner, I believe. I just don't remember. But this polearm has a attack percentage substat, making it a pretty meh option already. But let's take a look at the weapon's effect, which is the Watatsumi Wavewalker. For every point of the entire party's combined maximum energy capacity, the elemental burst damage of the character equipping this weapon is increased by 0.12 for a maximum of a 40% increase to your elemental burst damage. This weapon, unfortunately, is not going to be a good option for a lot of characters if you are lacking 5-star or even other more popular 4-star options. However, this could be good for like a Shenhe, a Zhonling. However, saying a weapon is good for Zhonling is like a free bingo space because every polearm is great for Zhonling. It could also be okay for a Rosaria and other sub DPS characters that you only care about their burst damage and not so much their normal attack or elemental skill damage instead. It's not going to be that great, unfortunately, for a lot of characters. It's a nice weapon, again, if you have nothing, but as you play the game, you'll eventually get upgrades, even 4-star upgrades over that weapon instead. Next up, we have the Eye of Perception, and hopefully I don't get this weapon mixed up with the prototype Amber again. This also has a substat of attack percentage, and it has the weapon effect called Echo, where your normal and charge attacks have a chance to fire a bolt of perception, dealing 240% of your attack as damage. This bolt can also bounce between opponents a maximum of 4 times, and this can occur once every 12 seconds. This is very similar to the Wavebreaker's Fin. It is just an okay weapon on your Catalyst users. It's not going to be anyone's best in slot, obviously. If you do fail to get like Scaramouche's weapon and you don't have anything else, this could be like a decent substitute until you get something better. It could also be okay on like Ningguang and Klee, but it's nowhere near, close to other 4-star options or especially the 5-star options. So it's something, again, if you got nothing else, use it, but you will find an upgrade for this eventually. Last up, we got the Favonius Warbow, which does the exact same thing as the Favonius Greatsword. All the Favonius weapons have the same weapon effect. Now, this one is here because Goro is in the banner right now with Arataki Itto and Skara. This is definitely going to be the best bow for him because it allows him to generate more energy, making him sort of like a pseudo battery for his team. And again, just remember to build some crit rate on him since he's not going to get it for free like cryo units would. So you are going to have to give him a crit rate main stat. Circlet is a great way to get it on your artifacts. That being said, let's talk about the weapon banner once more before we head out today. And I just want to say the 5 stars on this weapon are actually really, really great. Unfortunately, the 4 stars that you could be pulling on in this banner, well, other than the Sacrificial Sword and the Favonius Warbow, which are great for multiple sub DPSs and supports, the Wavebreaker's Fin, the Eye of Perception, and even the Greatsword. Like the Greatsword has even less uses because there's not too many characters that can use it like a Warbow. They're not the best 4-star option or 4-star weapons you can get. But if you are lacking weapons in general, or you just get super unlucky and don't get the 5-star that you want, I suppose that could be a decent option until then. And before we round off this video, just want to say that if you are a brand new player, you should not be messing around with weapon banners. In my opinion, you should be building up an arsenal of characters instead. Now, when you feel like you have enough characters, at least, 8 characters that you feel confident putting into 2 separate teams, then you can maybe decide to pull on some weapon banners if you so choose. But characters are way more valuable than 5-star weapons, especially early on. That being said, that is going to be it for this video. What do you guys think about the new 5-star weapons? Are you guys going to pull for either or? If so, let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you liked the video, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.